Well, thank you guys all for coming. I appreciate your attendance today. But what I want to just begin with is what I hope to accomplish if I were to be elected as the GPSA president. And I want to share with you my priorities. One of the things that I have seen is that this university does not invest in the money that is out there in bringing resources in. Research brings $300 million into this university, and so I want to promote graduate student research. And as grants chair, I've seen how much research means to graduate students here. In the past year, I've also seen the 3.2% rescission that happened in the fall across the board for the university threaten GA and TA jobs. And I know that's an important source of funding for graduate students, so I would always fight to protect the GA and TA jobs. The next priority, I think, speaks to all graduate and professional students, which is I always will fight to prevent any increases in tuition and fees. 60% of graduate students don't have funding through either research or TA, GA positions. And so for those students, they're basically going into debt in order to fund their education. And my priority is always to make higher education as accessible to students as possible. The last thing that I believe is important for graduate students, and actually for the university as a whole, is what our mission is. Our mission ought to be to fund and protect the academic nature of this university. We want UNM to be a flagship university for the state. And as, through my role with GPSA, I have seen the way that the university sometimes loses track of that vision. And what I want to do is work together with constituency groups across campus on behalf of graduate students to make sure that money goes towards the academic mission, especially. An example of this is the capital projects that we've seen funded recently. $3 million is going to fund our new baseball stadium. While at the same time, the biology students have an unfinished biology building. The first couple of floors of that biology, or the last couple of floors of that biology building are unfinished. So, why are we, funding a baseball stadium when in fact we've won awards for using Isotope Stadium? It's one of the best college stadiums that we use across the country. And not being able to invest in finishing a biology building but actually bringing research dollars to this university. So that contrast is really disturbing to me. So what I want to do is make sure that the university administration is held accountable for maintaining our academic mission. I think that's my 3 minutes. Stop. Thanks.
Next up, we have Trisha. I'll hold up my Greek marker.
I did better standing up. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to our sponsors, our sponsoring organizations. Thank you to Peru, and thank you for taking the time to be here today. I know it's difficult with a timely schedule. Let me begin by just saying that this campaign is about you and it's about myself. Together, tackling the many issues that we have facing our campus today. And it's not just the issues that we're talking about that we face here on campus, but it's tied into our campus together with the community. I'm not new to adversity. I'm not new to budgetary crisis. I'm not new to problems facing program development, program cuts, cutbacks. This is not a situation that I have not lived through many times. And because I've been through this, because I've mastered having to sit at the table, negotiate agreements, work out contracts, work on memorandums of understanding, I know the importance of everyone joining together and talking about what needs to be done. I don't need to build my resume. My resume is 10-page long. I don't need a stepping stone. I've already been there. I think the important thing for all of us to know today is that our university, our interests as students are at stake right now because we're suffering the exemplary, the problem that every single university is facing across the nation is, and we're being given carrying the burden of that as students. Tuition rising, of terrible rise in costs. We're being faced with increased costs in our community as consumers. We are being tossed into a situation where we don't have the answers. No one is giving us the answers that we need to know as students in order to be able to sit at the table and negotiate and discuss and come together as a whole. One of the things that I'm real concerned about is the fact that we have graduate research and teaching assistants that are being overloaded with responsibilities that they don't need to be having, yet their pay is much lower and they're not getting compensated equally. So for me, that's exploitation. The other thing that I'm really concerned about is the fact that we have overloaded classes. We don't have good student ratios to tenured faculty. We're being asked to carry the full burden. And yet, when we ask the questions, we're not being given the answers. This is not a situation that requires us to sit back, be quiet, be silent on the issue. This is a situation that requires us to take action, to be proactive, to be heard, to be raising our voices loud and clear. Thank you.
All right, up next we have Jacob.
Ask you better standing. Like everyone else, I'd like to thank all of you for being here, and our sponsors, PERG, of course, La Raza, Native American Students Association, Black Professional Students Association, now queer grad students. I'm in this race for one simple reason. I'm new to this university, and I'm new to being a graduate student. I'm a first-year MPA student. But I'm not new to the issues that challenge all of us as a graduate student community. Last year, I worked on the Legislative Finance Committee's audit of the University of New Mexico as one of the auditors for the state legislature. And what we found are a lot of the concerns we've already been discussing here today, and I'm sure we'll keep discussing throughout the rest of this debate. Financial transparency, resource allocation issues to support the core mission of this university, research funding for professors and graduate students. All of these issues came up in our discussions. And when I left the table and left those discussions with the administration, I felt that I needed to do something. And that's why when I came to this university and enrolled in the program, I decided to seek office with GPSA. Now, the concerns that will be discussed here today, as the other candidates have already said, need our collective attention. They need to be on the table for discussion within this university community, and yes, the administration has to be held accountable for the decisions that they make. But I want to be quite clear about one thing. Many of these decisions cannot be solved on this campus. The regents don't have the answer. The reason that we as a state do not have a firm grasp on the increase in tuition, both at the graduate and undergraduate level, is that our state lacks a comprehensive tuition policy. And every year we do this stopgap measure to get to a place where we all feel comfortable with how much more of a burden we're placing on our students. And I think that's the wrong way to go about business. Secondly, when it comes to research funding, this state uses a pork barrel process to divert minimal resources to graduate student research through what is called the Research and Public Service Projects Initiative. And this does not direct the necessary resources to support all of your efforts. And so why do I talk about these issues in a broader context? Because the leader of this organization should be one who is just as comfortable negotiating the conversations here in campus as they are in bringing the discussion to the halls of Santa Fe. And that's what I bring to this election. The ability to engage in these discussions and help the community both here and across New Mexico begin to articulate a comprehensive vision on how we can bring these issues from this platform and work on them collectively at the state level. You'll see in the material that I've handed out to you that my campaign is focused on 3 areas. 1, a more open and transparent budget process. And you can read the rest, and we'll talk about some more in a bit. Thank you.
Okay, that includes Joseph.
I think we're all going to have ample time to answer questions, and you will have the chance to hear our platform. So I wanted to use this opportunity to tell you a little bit about myself and my personal reasons for running, because I think When it comes down to it, that's the focus that a lot of students are concerned about, and they want to know somebody's reason why. And basically what it comes down to is that I am passionate about this university. I've spent 6 years here as a student, and I've been involved extensively. I've done research, I've traveled with the university, I've done internships both inside and outside of the state. I've gone overseas through the university, and this university is something that I'm extremely indebted to. And a big part of that was being involved, and that involvement has drove me to come back to UNM and to become a law student, to pursue an advanced degree as a professional student. And I think that is something that has been expanded only because of the university's ability to allow me to experience so many great opportunities. And that's where my concern about running for GPSA president has come from. I feel like there needs to be more opportunities for students to become involved with the university. I think that we all have the concerns about research. We obviously have concerns about student employment with TAs and GAs. But I think when it comes down to it, you need a strong organization to facilitate that for students. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't have a strong organization behind you with a strong leader who's willing to work with lots of people, I don't think that it can truly benefit students. And that's my biggest concern. And that's the reason why I want to run for GPSA. There have obviously been, people have concerns about governments in general, and GPSA is no different. And there are several concerns with GPSA, and one is the accessibility issue. That's just a natural thing that happens when people try to look at a government. They always say it's inaccessible. But what makes my candidacy and my platform a little bit different, I believe, is that I have specific plans that I've already had in place, and I've started to help facilitate through the GPSA Council and in my platform, if I were elected president, to help create a better organization that can help facilitate student participation. First off, that would be working more with the council. The GPSA Council, I believe, is the heart of GPSA. That's where the representatives come from, and that's where you get the most diverse group of student voice. And I think in the past, the organization has been set up to impede that dialogue between the president and the council. And as a council member and somebody who's worked with